Women and men are experiencing climate change differently, as gender inequalities persist around the world, affecting the ability of individuals and communities to adapt. Recognizing the important contributions of women as decision makers, stakeholders, educators, carers, and experts across sectors and at all levels can lead to successful long-term solutions in climate change. Today with me I have a very special guest, CEO of Green Energy Solutions and Sustainability LLC, Anita Nouri, ladies and gentlemen, at Expert Interviews. Good morning, Anita. Thank you for joining me at IDP Media Group today. How are you feeling?
I feel great. Thank you for having me.
So I have to say a lot of very interesting questions that I've prepared for you today. Taboo topics, if I can say, in construction, which is gender equality and climate change and how this affects us and sustainability. So women are increasingly being seen as the more vulnerable when it comes to the impacts of climate change, mainly because they represent the majority of the world's poor population. So in your opinion, what steps and measures do we need to take into consideration women and start supporting them, let's say, in decreasing these global influences and issues that are being placed on the gender?
Well, I'd like to say that women being viewed as the more vulnerable is just a matter of the fact that women are the caretakers of the world. We take care of our families, we take care of the house, we take care of the children. So that in itself has more women visible in that aspect.
Vulnerable environment, yeah.
And as a woman in an industry with waste management and sustainability, I think that it's important for us to see our place and to have a voice and to be heard and try to make the change happen. A lot of times we don't step up to the challenge of voicing our opinion. And I think that that is what's slowly changing in the world. Women are having a voice, they are speaking up. Even countries where they're viewed as the quiet, vulnerable, stay at home, they're also speaking up. And they're speaking up in a way that they're pushing for their daughters to get educated, to go to school, for schools to open up in all countries in the world. And education is what will help women rise up and be able to have that voice.
Do you think these chances are being given to them?
I think that slowly they are, because I think that the world has changed, that now we see everything in real time. So we see the bad and we also see the good. Unfortunately, news tends to focus on the bad because that makes people watch the news. But we need to also change that. We also need to focus on the good, because seeing good things makes you hopeful. And if you're hopeful, you can find a way to do something good. If you become hopeless, as in anything, you give up. If you give up, then maybe even in your daily life, when you're throwing out that plastic cup or bottle or whatever, you'll just throw it any place. But if you're hopeful and feel that maybe you can also be a change, you can also be a part of it, then you will take that initiative. We spoke before we started filming a little bit about, we live in Dubai. It's a country that sees innovation and it supports it and it celebrates it. And there are many, many ways to recycle your waste here. But do people really know it and see it and understand it and realize that even that one little change that you make, that by bringing your own coffee cup to work, or using the we can and bring your bottle and fill it with water, if we start to make those small changes, it makes a big impact.
It'll be the root cause of our motivation as well, too.
Exactly.
Definitely. Now, a woman who vouches for design and sustainable construction, what kind of changes were you able to let's say, execute to improve women's involvement in sustainable construction?
Well, for me, I couldn't do too much in my specific industry because first, I'll take a step backward. Construction in general is a male-dominant industry. It always will be.
It always will
be. But that doesn't mean that women should not have a voice and should not step up, because we think differently than men. So together, I really feel that we make a better solution, a better thought process. Women are a little bit softer, a little bit more forgiving. Men are a little bit more black and white and rational. And together, that combination makes for
a
good marriage. Exactly. And with construction industry specifically, and it's important. I'm in the waste management, waste industry, and for that it's really very male dominant. But the way that I feel and hope that I make a change is being able to speak to people like you, being able to speak at different events and tell everybody that you can be part of that change. You can do the small things that will make an impact and a difference in our world. I mean, sustainability should be easy. We shouldn't focus on how much water a cow drinks, how much gas a cow emits, how much steaks can you eat, because then you have to also focus on how much water does it take to grow crops for food to eat.
And
because
it shouldn't be that challenging.
And it starts to overwhelm people. So we need to take a step back, see what we did before, and poorer countries are more sustainable than we are because they take the time to cook their meals at home. They don't go out as much. They don't order Deliveroo every 5 minutes. I mean, it's like it should be easier, but it's a little bit more work, but it should be easier, and it should be a way that people can think.
Yeah, let's hope we're on a better path in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, from your experiences with partnerships in the region, how do you think construction stakeholders in the private sector can best support initiatives to empower women and support this sustainable development that we all talk about?
Well, I think women need to support themselves. We need to put ourselves out there and not be scared. I mean, have a voice. Let people hear you. Ask the questions. Demand equality. We need to stand up for ourselves. Women, I think that as women, we are sometimes our own worst enemy. You know, we try to be politically correct and
or overly emotional.
Or overly emotional, and we shouldn't be. Like, I was at an event and a young woman engineer, I'm very proud of her for getting her degree. She was complaining that she wasn't getting the same value, and she goes, they're not choosing me, they're not hiring me, and I said, well, you have to step up, stop comparing yourself to men, because you can't be compared. I mean, I think as women we need to champion ourselves. We need to push ourselves and push our other women that are in the industry and make these groups that we get together and we speak about it and find our challenges, because there always will be challenges. Construction always will be male oriented. Definitely. But we need to find a way to fit ourselves in. Be like water, fill in the cracks.
Good one. Do you think that the guidelines for hiring have to be different for males and females in the industry, or do you think they should be the same?
I think they should be the same, and I think that they should be blind. So you shouldn't know if you're reading a paper about a woman or a man, and they should be hired on their merits rather than their gender. I really never had to face that because I just threw myself into it. But then again, there are not very many people that I have met that are like me that just throw themselves into things. I didn't study engineering, but I found that that was my passion.
Yeah.
And that's also an important thing. So if you find your passion, you'll never feel like you're working, and you will put yourself out there more. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be scared, but put yourself out there. What's
Every beginning is difficult.
Exactly. What's the worst thing that someone can say to you is no. If you turn their no into a maybe, then it's half the battle. And
you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And life is all a bunch of little battles that we win every day, one by one.
Talking about these battles, tell me a recent challenge that you have faced while working on a sustainability, let's say, project in the region, and how did you overcome it?
Well, our project in general, landfill gas to energy, we're degassing the Al Qusais landfill, which is the largest landfill in Dubai, receiving over 8,000 tons of municipal waste a day. And what can you do with that? So we're degassing it. Landfills emit methane. Methane is a greenhouse gas. Global warming capacity is 28 times more harmful than CO2. So by degassing this landfill, you're reducing the impact on the environment. In the end, you need to make money because business is money. So we need to either generate power that's connected to the grid, or we need to generate power that we can utilize. And this has always been my challenge. So for the past 10 years, we brought an engine, we're generating power, delivering power for our site, and are always constantly in talks of how we can utilize this power. So it's been a challenge. I'm a little bit, I guess, I'm more optimistic than most, but hopefully we find a way to use this gas to generate power and keep degassing the landfill because that's important.
And start from somewhere.
Yeah.
Towards our path of sustainable.
And if
a
a door closes, a window opens.
Exactly.
And I always feel that that's what we're doing. And the most important thing is to reduce the impact on the environment, and that is what we're doing. So I'm happy about that. I just need to find a way to monetize that.
Definitely. Now, over the years, having worked on so many projects and initiatives that support sustainability and climate change, what have been some of your key learnings, let's say, and intakes that helped you minimize the consequences of all these issues?
Knowledge and education, and always finding a new way. Disrupting what is the norm, making that impact one small step at a time.
And the challenges make you grow fast.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. And really education on all levels. So when I spoke about the Kusais landfill, and I'm very proudly working with Dubai Municipality and Waste Management Department in this initiative. But when we first started, it was more of a dump site. And together with the municipality, we've turned it into an environmental showcase project. Why hasn't it gone to power? That's not my decision. That's a different story. But it doesn't mean that the project in itself is not impactful or successful, because it is doing what it's supposed to do.
Exactly. Every change is a change.
Yeah, exactly. And you just always have to be optimistic. I'm much more of a glass half full than glass half empty type of person.
And we need more people like you in this world in order to create this change. Thank you for coming over to ITP Media Group today. It was lovely having you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Women have proven to be leading the way towards more equitable and sustainable solutions to the global problems and challenges, as well as bring innovations and expertise to transform lives and livelihoods and increase climate change resilience and overall well-being. My name is Mina Vucic, reporter at Construction Week, and thank you for tuning in today. Make sure to like and comment your thoughts on today's episode, as well as subscribe to all of our social media channels for more expert interviews coming very soon.